Hi, my name is Christine Lynch. The topic that I chose to do my speech on is unsolved murders near home. I chose to do this topic because my dream job is to be a homicide detective one day. So hopefully if I'm able to reach this goal, I will be able to help lower the rate of unsolved murders. From this presentation, I hope that you're able to take away more knowledge about unsolved murders, how common they are, and how close to home they actually do happen. Now, before I kind of dive into the presentation, I would like you to think about kind of the other end of unsolved murders, and that's the families that are left without answers. So let's say you and your family are sitting at home, somebody leaves, and then they don't come back. And then you get a call saying this person's passed away and it's been a murder. And right now we don't have any answers for you. So that's a whole different type of grieving process because you still don't have answers years later. There's families 20 years ago that lost somebody and they still don't have answers. So kind of when you hear about how many unsolved murders there are, that's how many families that are also still grieving every day because they weren't given any type of closure, any answers. So that's kind of what comes along with this. So I would like to look at how many murders are left unsolved in the U.S., in Illinois, and then here in Rockford. So we'll start with the U.S. On January 9, 2020, the U.S. Department of Justice published the Crisis of Cold Cases, giving information on the database for the U.S. regarding cold case files. So this kind of gave them the information, the numbers, the statistics, everything that kind of goes along with it was kind of in this article. For the U.S., there is 250,000 unsolved murders. In 2017, only 62% of their murders were solved here in the U.S. The highest peak of unsolved murders was in 1980s. I believe that was probably their highest peak from the transitioning to not much resources as they do now. So I do know that there was a lot of cases that were kind of like messed up in the mix, or things that were retrialed as new resources were coming into play, helping to solve murders, such as the DNA testing and everything like that. For agencies, there's 18,000 law enforcement agencies in the U.S., and only 7% of those are specifically designated for helping solve unsolved murders. So only 7% of those people actually go back and look at unsolved murders and see if there's just anything new, anything that they might have missed before. And then for statistics, 6,000 cases, 6,000 unsolved murder cases are added every year. So when you think about cases being added, that's now unsolved murders. That means nobody was arrested for them. So when nobody's arrested, it's highly likely that that offender is most likely going to repeat. So things are kind of doubling at that point. So once they get away with it, they do it again, and then so on. So right here, this is just kind of a graph about the most dangerous cities in the world in 2020 by murder rate per 100,000, sorry. So the top three was Los Cabos, Mexico. I'm probably saying these very wrong. Caracas, Venezuela, and another city in Mexico. They were the top three dangerous cities. So digging deeper, looking into Illinois now. Illinois has a special victims unit. This meaning they have special units for certain crimes. So they have their district, the Illinois State Police, is put in different zones for each crime category. So they have an area where domestic violence might be the main thing over here. Burglary and theft and burglary are like in this area, and murders in one area. They have special, like, certain officers designed for each area. It's kind of broken up. They have a website for the Illinois State Police. It's updated with information from the police department and the FBI and themselves. So more facts and data are put in there. So they update the numbers frequently. And then only 40% of Illinois' cases, murder cases, actually get solved. So more than half, but so I'd say that's probably a good number, 40%, I guess, out of everything. But that's still 40%, meaning there's still a ton of families left without answers at the end of the day, and people who didn't get justice for what's happened to them. So the total number of homicides in the U.S. in 2019 by state, going from highest number to lowest. The top 3 states, we have California, Texas, and then Florida. Those were the top 3. So now looking deeper, now we have Rockford here in the hometown. So the rates for Rockford, they're actually getting lower for the unsolved murders and the crime itself. Right now, there was 81 people shot in 2019, which is 32% lower than 2018, where they had 119, and then 45% lower than 2017, where they had 146 people shot. So it's slowly making its way down, but Rockford's also making new safety measurements and taking new precautions to try and help lower the rates. 2016 was the highest crime rate for unsolved murders, everything in general. 2016 was the worst year. So for more safety measurements that they've taken to help lower their rates, they've added 160 cameras in the downtown area. They have new gunfire detective systems, so they have new equipment now, so they can detect gunfire. So, and then they also have resident officer programs. So now they have officers in neighborhoods that are also like patrolling the neighborhoods to, kind of help with the crime. So this is for crime overall, but it would help lower the rate as well as unsolved murders, helping eliminate murders overall. So these safety measurements do apply here. And then this kind of came from Jeff Kolke, January 4th, 2020, when he published the article Rockford Police, Solving More Crimes. And this was providing the public with information and data on the unsolved homicide cases over the years. So this told them what's been going on, how their rates have decreased, and what they're doing to help, and the changes that they're making. So now that's a little bit of knowledge on the unsolved murders here in the U.S., in Illinois, and then back in Rockford. So this is kind of just to help you stay aware, realize how common this stuff is, and it can happen to anyone at any place. So we have lower rates here in Rockford, but it's still common. And we might have lower rates in Illinois versus another state, but it's still common. And so with all of these cases, that's still families without answers, and it's still people who were taken from the world with, no answers. And yeah, so that's all I have for you. So thank you so much.